Okay.
All right, so I'll call the meeting to order at 7:39. Thank you all for making the change to accommodate soccer coaching here for this month, and then we'll figure out next month. So I appreciate that. It's usually the one thing that can't get moved around. So, all right. So Sherry's just introducing herself. So she is our official liaison for the Board of Trustees. So happy to have you here.
Try to be.
Happy to have you here and to be participating, so, all
Thank
right. So we can do an attendance roll call.
Adam,
Present.
Carolyn,
Here?
Les,
Here.
Mark,
He is excused. He sent me a message. He's stuck at another meeting currently. So,
and that's all for the board.
correct.
Guess Dwight,
All right, so on to approval of the agenda. I would like to make a motion to add under old business, since I was just out at the soccer field, I was thinking about it, that we had had some conversations about, maybe 2 months ago, about that cart or the food thing that the soccer club wanted to do. And so I would like to make a motion just to get an update or to have a conversation with Ben, 'cause I think you're sort of part of what needs to happen or not happen, or at least some guidance maybe, on that. So if possible, I'd like to make a motion to add that to old business, so the soccer, what are you calling, or what's the club called? Soccer food trailer, soccer trailer?
The concession trailer.
Concession trailer, alright.
under old business.
Under old business, after the March, park visit tour.
Are you moving that?
I am making a motion.
I'll second.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright, so we'll add that under old business, thank you. So then, make a motion for the approval of the agenda as amended. I'll make that motion.
Second?
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright, approval of agenda as amended. So approval of the minutes, we do not have the January ones here. Carolyn will work on sending those out for next, right?
Yes.
Alright, but we do have the February ones, so I'm gonna add January, so, I'd like to make a motion to, approve the February minutes as submitted. Get a second from anyone?
Second.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright, so motion, February minutes are approved as submitted, and we will move
Can we
January.
table the January minutes?
Yeah, we're gonna table the January minutes, and so we'll do those next month we'll do January and April. Alright, any disclosures of conflicts of interest? No, alright, public comment, we do not have a public, Dwight, do you? Would you like, you have 3 minutes related to items germane to the agenda,
I'll just say I hope next time I'm approved.
official?
We also hope so.
Yeah, excellent. Alright, so old business, the March park visit / tour, kind of recap and discussion, including the Upton Road site, which is kind of what we went and did the other visits to and ended up there. Sherry, so we're thinking about, that Upton site that has.
How many acres is that?
It's 18.
Okay.
So it's had a future park location, or future Bath Park Township location or something like that, it now has half of that.
The woodpeckers and squirrels.
Yeah. So we've just been trying to say, now that we got through the 5-year rec plan submission, it's been approved by the state and accepted, that now kind of thinking about, all right, what do we
That's
sort
the
of want?
southwest corner.
Upton.
Southeast,
Up to, across from Dutch Hills.
east
Be,
side of Upton.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
behind the electrical,
Yeah, there's
Okay.
there's a
North-
tornado siren over there, I don't know if you know where that's at.
Yeah, so,
yeah,
V Electric, just north
the
of,
electric, yeah, I was trying to think of, yeah,
just north of M78 on Upton.
yeah,
okay.
yeah, if you're going
East side,
north on the, yeah, east side, yep.
okay.
So, and there's a little gate there, there's some trees
Okay.
lots of trees that Carolyn planted last year that are alive,
Oh,
mostly.
great.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, lots of,
Great.
they're Norways, right? Yeah, so,
Yeah, I'd say probably 75% of them are,
That's
there's
pretty
quite a
good.
few of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you planted 80 or 90, or something like that, so.
Yeah.
I think they did pretty good.
I agree.
Great.
Yeah, so we're just kind of thinking, all right, with, now that that's submitted, there's a possibility to do a DNR trust fund grant, plus some other grant opportunities, around recreation and outdoor space and placemaking, just trying to think about like, what's around here, what did we learn from our survey that people are, citizens are looking for, residents are looking for, and sort of, what has been done in the past. Ben found a drawing of that location that from like 2003, three.
Yeah. Actually, I have some more information that I dug up on
Okay.
that too, so,
So,
if you want that now, I guess.
sure, yeah, so sure, we
So
went on
they
a
did-
visit to a couple other
Okay.
parks, like the aquatic center where there's the softball fields, and then to the,
Towner Park.
what's it?
Towner Park.
Towner, I wanted to call it Cornell, yeah, Towner Park, yeah, that has a couple soccer fields and some,
Yeah, so very
Fields,
similar, drawing to what we have as what Towner Park is. I actually looked up Towner Park, that was a $1.9 million project.
oh, that's less than I thought it would have been to do
Yeah,
that.
so that's a 24 acre parcel, it has 2 baseball fields, pickleball court, 3 soccer fields, I guess lacrosse, whatever you want, they're
Multi-use.
multi-use fields. 6 pickleball courts, a large pavilion, large restroom building, and a third of a mile paved loop walking trail. And the plans are underway for a new playground there.
At that
At
location.
that location,
Okay.
so very, very similar to what we had our concept drawing done in 2003. And I did dig up a little bit of information on that, they did, looks like apply for a trust fund grant in 2004.
Okay,
Must be they weren't successful. And then they had a phased, drawing and of the concept and cost estimation at 600,000, that was back in 2003, and that included, the baseball fields, the concrete, the drainage structure, the storm sewer, backstop benches, bases, and final grade for the site. That did not include the other, soccer field, or the playground, or the buildings that were, there's also like a concessions bathroom building, and then a maintenance building, and some basketball courts.
And where is this one?
This was a concept drawing done for the Upton Road Park that we're
Okay,
talking about.
okay.
That was done in 2003, 4-ish. And then they, basically were contracting with capital consultants to do to run the project.
okay,
So back then, it was 20 years ago, the first phase was 600,000.
okay. So maybe double,
Yeah.
is it probably
I
a
don't know, who knows
rough
what, yeah.
guesstimate-ish?
Yeah, so a million and a half.
Yep.
Probably for that.
Which I think trust fund grants are up to 300K. I'd
Okay,
have to look that up, it's either 300 or 500, but I think it's up to
I think
300.
it's 300.
300, I think, yep, and then there's usually, well, we saw at the aquatic center one, there's usually I forget what the other, it's another DNR,
Is it
it's
TAP
a,
grant?
There's a water
There's a
fund one.
water one,
and then
yeah.
there's another one, but I don't remember what
yeah,
it's called.
so in that, the Upton, or the, East Lansing Aquatic Center one had the trust fund grant and the
And the
water one, on that plaque, so. Which is nice to see that it's not like one or the other,
Right,
that
yeah.
they'll allow you to do
Use
that.
both. So yeah, so there has been something planned. I also want to, so I had an opportunity to go over, have any of you been to Under the Nets North in DeWitt? It's a new facility, it's privately owned, rental
Oh.
facility in DeWitt. My son was invited to go to a birthday party there, but as far as like, I know we've talked about an indoor rec facility possibly over there. They have a huge, it's basically a big pole barn. And they have a basketball court, there's a golf simulator in there, and, like a small dining area with bathrooms. And there, I don't know how big a parcel it is, I didn't look, but it's fairly new, and I'm assuming they're gonna have other outside activities there, but that would be something, I don't think it would be terribly expensive to make, if we wanted to have indoor court. There's basketball, pickleball, the net court's there. It's just an idea, if you guys get a chance to go check that out, you can, I wanna say it's like $65 an hour to rent that building, the whole building. So not ridiculous, but.
I
And
think
it,
it's Andre Hudson might be part of that.
Oh,
one.
okay.
I think he is, and there's
Okay.
yeah. But, I mean, I think what we've heard on the survey, And then what we've just heard also every time it comes up on the Bath page is that people are definitely interested in having an indoor place where, especially where teenagers and other young adults can have a place to go
Yeah.
and you know, that has come up repeatedly. And so I think that as we dream, it's, you know, can always cut things, add things, you know, it's
Sure.
like, I think thinking about something like that is worth thinking about. I mean, the other thing, Carolyn, is you know, when you bring up adult basketball a lot, and that it's like with, you know, being able to get into the gym is always is someone there to unlock it, are they not? How does it work with the youth, you know, Red Cedar schedule on
Right.
Saturdays and Sundays when adults are able to do it? It's like, you know, if that was out of you know,
Right, that would be nice,
equation.
and have been able to bring back the kindergarten, first grade program as well, cause we weren't able to do it, cause
Yeah.
two gyms were too flooded, so.
Yeah.
That'd be fun too, and also a place for like seniors to go to as well, and maybe offer programs, like day programs even to them and things, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know, actually, I met with, DeWitt Township's assistant manager, I believe, is her title. And this was regarding an access control for our buildings, but their community center is open all the time. They have it on a schedule, so their lock's open, and anybody can just come in and enjoy it, and then obviously there's cameras and stuff in there. And then when it's rented, then they would have, key cards or punch code that works. When they activate that code, it turns on, unlocks the doors for a certain period of time, and then they lock when they leave.
Okay.
okay, so if you
So
rented
that's-
it for 3 hours or whatever, you'd have a code to
Yep.
get in when that time
Yeah, so
started.
there, but, I'm fairly certain she said that building is open, like it opens at 9 AM and closes at 5 PM or whatever.
And
Their
people can
schedule,
just
whatever
show
their
up,
schedule.
is it staffed, is it?
Nope,
No, it's just, okay.
and, well, if they have events there, then there's
Yeah.
staff, but.
But like if
it's
someone
just-
wanted to go play basketball, if you show up with the basketball and,
Nice.
Interesting.
That's cool.
So with this access control project, you know, that's easily able to, mod that into down the road.
Make a comment, our board is very paranoid about buildings like the community, I'm on the senior center too, and they're just like, we can't have the door unlocked unless we have a staff member in there. They're just really, it's like, I'm a staff member, I'm paid, I can go in there, somebody, and everybody on the committees are paid $5. But they seem to be butthead, I don't know if you've heard them about that, it just seems to be a
And that's a
mindset.
policy thing that, you
Yeah,
know, we
that
could work
need to
through, I
talk
don't
about
know.
and see what, maybe check into our insurance and say, like, if DeWitt can do it, they're the same general thing as us.
it's always good when there's someone who
Yeah.
has done it, you know, nearby to
Yeah,
be able to
yeah.
point to. I mean, I think, yeah, as we see things grow or continue to grow or expand or however we wanna talk about that, you know, having things for people to do, I think I feel like that's sort of the hat we're wearing right now, the discussions we've been having for the last year is how do we create that space, in a way that is based off feedback from the survey and the community and the residents. And that can be something to grow into, you know, that's the other thing, you don't wanna build something and then it's like, you know, you don't wanna build something huge, but also not build something that by the time it's done, it's like, there was no demand and now there's like a place and now there's all this demand and it's like flooded again,
Yeah.
you know, but. And I guess with the, you know, that's a good thought about the, you know, like seniors where they were doing, Aaron was doing that Zumba and stuff in the community center building, it's like if there was a different space as well that could be for classes like that. I mean, the community center is fine, but it's not like an awesome athletic
Yeah.
workout place, right, you know?
Built for that.
Yeah, it's not made for that, exactly, not designed for that, so, yeah.
It seems like a really big project that I really think would be so valuable for the community. But I have to like wonder if that's like something too that we should begin to like think about partnering with some of our neighboring communities who might just be like on the other side of the border, who we might be able to draw in some monies for, you know, just kind of partnerships like that as we think about it.
Yeah, I definitely think that makes sense to be talking with Meridian and
Meridian.
Hazlitt and DeWitt and saying like, we're thinking about this, like, and that, I don't know if that's a conversation that I mean, we could invite them to hear, some of their board members to hear, I don't know how all of them are structured, I know that DeWitt has a board, like they have a rec board, I believe, that has like part DeWitt Township, part DeWitt City,
Yeah.
like it's split on there, or if it's, Becca talking with them, or, with their rec directors or coordinators. But yeah, I think that to just do it and not have had those conversations, that's a really good point, would be it.
I think it also would be neat to like get, price quotes from like companies to see how much it would cost for both options, to see how much it would be for those, but also just like a quote to see how much it would be to make the land usable, like, flat.
Great
And like,
idea.
so phase one would be to make it all flat and like get like a walking trail, like, cause either option, you could put in like a parking lot and that outside walking trail. And so it'd be nice to be able to present it like, phase one would be doing this, and then, opening it up to like the community and like the board and asking their opinions on it, and, have people vote on like, and then be able to present to them the, the price quotes that we get from people about how much it would cost for each option and which had the most like enthusiasm behind it and stuff, and kind of go from there. But either way, like the first step for both of those would be to get the land, flat, and, giving some place for the people to walk and stuff, and like getting it recognized as a park, like there's a place to park for people, you can go walk there. What are you guys thinking? What would be, then like they could actually go look at the park and have a place to go to and, do something at. And so it'd be neat to do like a phase one, and then like phase two would be present those ideas, what we're thinking, kind of thing.
So in 2003, that, what you just said about grading is about 300,000. So I don't know what that means in today's market, but just to give you an idea, 20 years ago, we're
Sure.
a little over 300,000.
To grade it?
Just for the grading, yeah, earthwork, soil erosion control, obviously, they're gonna have a mobilization, but, and then fine grade mulch. Site, including a pond, was another 50 grand.
And was a part of water control, a
Yeah.
pond, I'm assuming, like how it was it, how
Retention.
the,
Yep, that was probably all part of their storm drainage structures, parking lot, would all go into that detention pond, onto the county drain from there.
and maybe this is too specific questions to start asking now, this early on, like, is there sewer and water that runs up Upton, or it's just up Lansing or 78?
There's,
I think there's water.
there's water, but that stops at Perry Road,
Yeah.
Okay,
is our last hydrant, and I believe Dutch Hills is its own,
Yeah.
it's, cause we had actually found that out, I don't know, maybe 12 years ago or so, that Dutch Hills is actually, they have hydrants there, but they're on their own independent system.
oh, really, okay,
So it's probably run by a big well.
yeah,
We found, they don't have anywhere near enough capacity to run a fire truck.
yeah,
So there is water, not within a half a mile, I guess, from there probably.
Yeah.
And then I'm not exactly sure where sewer stops.
I'm pretty sure Dutch Hills
Dutch Hills
is
probably
on
has sewer.
sewer, so there just need to be an access bill, obviously, to go to the Upton property.
yeah. I was just thinking about it, would there have to be septic field, or would there have, or could it go into sewer
Yeah.
more, was what I was thinking about with buildings or building.
Yeah. A small bathroom building wouldn't be a big deal to have a septic, but
Right,
once you have a bigger facility,
right.
you might be looking at
Yeah.
something.
Hard to know how many people are gonna be,
Right.
using it and then
Yeah,
sizing
if
it.
you're gonna have
and then-
100 people in there for
Right.
an event or something.
Yeah,
Seems like there's a lot of interest among the group, and it would be helpful if we could take a look at that, trust fund grant, and also the plans, just kind of begin to at least plant the seed, so we can begin to develop that when the time gets better, just so we had a background understanding of it.
Sure.
I can take that on. Just to have information and, kind of what what it is, if there's match, I think there is match.
I think there is.
I don't remember, it's 50, I don't know if it's 50. But, yeah, and then also, like, I think, there's that, but then thinking about, whether we wanna call it stacking or braiding capital, capital investment, it'd be, if we started looking at, lots of options for investment, and how do we stack those or braid those so that we have multiple funding sources, that would potentially support it.
Because we do have, a couple of grants last time that we've like developed, and it might be good to kind of like start pulling those together so that we can, you know, build on them. Is that what you mean by braiding?
That more like, so when I think, like, thinking about capital in terms of, like, economic development and project development, so when you've got, like, alright, there's DNR trust fund, and there's DNR water fund, and maybe there's a CDFI that wants to give a good rate, or maybe that we decide, not that this is what we're deciding, but maybe, like, we think about selling bonds, you know, like, there's all, not that, I'm not advocating for selling bonds to build a rec, I don't mean it like that by any
Hypothetical.
means, I am not, I will say that very clearly on record, I am not advocating for selling bonds for this. But thinking about, so, like, it's kind of the suite of how we think, how we would do development, and then sometimes people refer to that as stacking capital, but we've been talking about it more as like braiding capital, so that they're each supporting each other, not that you have to get the trust fund one and then take that, and then that allows you to put this one on top of it, it's more braiding all these multiple funding sources, public funding sources together to be able to say like, we're, you know, we've got 900,000 here, and then we go to the township and say, hey, you know, we're not asking you for 1.9 million, we're asking, which we're not asking them for that either. But, you know, we have, at least we come to the table, or the committee comes to the table with some, like, these are possible ways, so,
Cool.
what about you, what are your thoughts on what you're hearing?
Well, I think we need to kind of lay out steps that we would want to follow. So like we talked about, initial step of doing grading and maybe having a running / walking path that might even be expanded to the exercise posts as a initial step. People become aware of that it's out there, that it's available for use. And maybe next week, you know, figure out either how to put in a couple of baseball diamonds or softball diamonds, and or a not a recreation, but a playground maybe, and figure out what those steps should be, and that we can financially attack them, because we're not gonna do this all in one spell swoop.
Right.
So I think that's the thing that we should look at doing, is figure out what are the steps that we think would best fill the city's desires, you know, and the most pressing ones first, or the ones that we can do first, and then next and next and so on, and have a vision of how we're going to assemble this.
I think that sounds great. I think also it's like, when we, as we think through it, thinking about like, alright, if we've got made up 5 phases, like, if phase 1 and 2 are the only ones that happen, that it's still like a very good usable space. So like, both of you have said, and I love that idea of like, you know, grading it and putting that walking path with like some workout things around there. It's like, if nothing else ever were to happen there, that's still a usable, interactive public space that,
Or even like a designated spot, like for, along with the walking path, like where the dogs could go, cause remember how heavily it was, people kept commenting, a dog park, a dog park, a dog park, and so maybe we'll get them off the soccer field. If I step in dog poop one more time.
there's for as many people, for as many people who have said, I want a dog park, I think there has been an equal number of people who have experience with dog parks that have said dog parks are not a good idea.
And my
Oh, I
dog
went-
trainer, no.
Anybody who's familiar with dog, you know, who raises or
Trains,
trains,
no way.
work with dogs, will never recommend a dog
I
park.
would never take my dogs, any of them, the small ones or the attack dogs, police work, I would never take them to a dog park.
Yeah.
Well, the second most asked for item was a splash pad.
Splash
Remember how
pad?
we kept laughing about splash pad, splash pad?
The splash pad, I'd be much more interested in than a dog park.
A dog splash pad.
There you go.
Now we're thinking.
There we go.
Are these dogs paying taxes?
I mean, they can walk in Rose Lake, you know, that's.
Yeah, so, but, I think that, yeah, all joking aside, that's a
Yeah.
great idea to think about what are the actual phases, how do we, get bids for each of them, so that we have some numbers to work from.
We talked about, even hiring a consultant to,
Yeah.
that'd be a really good way to build this out. I mean, this was a design from, the Capital Consultants, was this phase one of the park. So I haven't found phase 2 and 3 or however many phases there were, I've only found phase 1.
Yeah.
So they may have only put phase 1 together.
Right.
But through all the digging that I found in all the old files, and this phase 1 is basically, the baseball fields really are a fraction of the cost. It is the big cost of leveling that and doing the underground, the drainage and the parking lot are the big ticket items. The baseball diamonds were like, 35, ball field grade, 22,000.
Oh.
So they're really, the
much at all
baseball
on the
fields
scheme
aren't
of
much,
it.
once the grade is set.
Right.
Yeah.
Seed and probably the fencing is probably more than anything, but.
Well, and I was thinking that if we did put that grade area and put the walk, it would seem to me, and you would know better, that we put grass seed down and just mow it, and you would have a practice area for soccer or whatever,
Sure.
without having to put any additional work into it.
Yeah, figure it could be a place that people show up and they throw the football, they throw baseball, they play frisbee, it being an open space that
Yeah.
is maintained.
Right.
Yeah, cause there's some ankle busters out there now. No running.
Flat ground could be an ankle buster.
Yeah.
What do those plans have for irrigation? And what does the Bath soccer field presently have?
I don't know if I saw anything for irrigation for this plan. The soccer field, Cody would know better, but, it has like 160 sprinkler heads on it that are in 8 different zones. And that's getting pretty old,
Yeah.
itself. I mean, I think that's 14 years old, I wanna say, 2010, does that sound about right? But we're starting to replace, valves and sprinkler heads. We replace sprinkler heads every year, but, more so valves are gonna get expensive. But that system is old, and probably is gonna start taking more maintenance on it. And I don't remember, I think off the top of my head, it cost about 15,000 to put in.
Okay, so, also not that much in the scheme of it. Alright, so, before we say kinda next steps on this, is there anything else anyone would like to add to the discussion? Alright, so next steps are to think about some phases, alright, so, for me to look and get some more information about the DNR trust fund, just to bring back next meeting about kind of nuts and bolts basics of it, match, max amount, process, that kind of thing. So. Are we to a point where we want to be not hiring a consultant by any means? Are we at a point where we want to put together a list of potential consultants, or does the township just have like people that they work with because of stuff like this?
So, I mean, we worked with Williams and Works, that doesn't mean that they necessarily have to do it, but I will say, when we kind of initially started discussing this back in October-ish, since we were already working with them, I did ask them if they could give me a quote for like a project kind of thing like this. They did give me a quote, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, cause it's been a while, but I can definitely print that out and bring it next
Okay.
meeting.
So before we
Just
do
so that
any
we
of
have a
that stuff-
starting point to go off of.
Yeah, so Taylor will bring the, Williams and Works.
That was a quote to do the consulting.
Yeah, to do
for-
like conceptual for a project like
I
that,
think, I thought there was a pricing here, but again, these are 20 years old.
right?
So it's a quote that would say this is what it would take them to do something like.
Yeah, to basically
work
do a
through this with
conceptual,
us.
like, design process with
Okay,
us.
cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so we've got DNR trust and stuff, we've got the Williams and Works quote, we can talk through some more phases, but it sounds like, please don't tell me if this is not what it sounds like. It sounds like we are all thinking, like, grading and some type of walking path and possibly, so Ben had those where you had like the workout stations around, that could be potentially a phase one.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Cool. Alright, good work, Dean. Alright, moving on, concession trailer for, Gary Lane. I don't know what.
So, I know you emailed Karen,
Oh.
that's actually on our to-do list to talk about this week, her, me, and Ben. So we do have an ordinance that we gotta double check, because we can't remember what it says. So we had to double check that with Miles, and he was actually out today, so we weren't able to check with him on that. So that's, part of what we're doing this week is checking on that, and then depending on that, what that says, getting with Ben, and then we'll get back to you.
Okay.
That didn't really answer a whole lot of questions, but I'm sorry.
Did she bring up like the backstop at all either, or?
The what? I'm sorry.
That backstop thing we were talking
like a
about,
net.
that net?
Oh, I forgot about that part of the email, yeah.
I haven't talked to her about it.
Okay, can you explain that?
That's that big giant net we were talking about at the, I don't know directions
South.
very well, the south side of the field. It goes behind like where that big goal is by the parking lot. And it's a thing where you put in like poles in the ground, and the poles are semi-permanent. I mean, they can come out obviously, but like they don't necessarily come out. And you hook up this net to it and it goes up behind the goal and it stops the balls that keep going and slamming into
Okay.
cars.
Gotcha.
And so when we do fundraisers, we find that like with our goals, we have, if we list down, we're trying to raise money for such and such item. That's what we wanted to raise money for, because, we noticed it's a big problem, like the kids constantly are kicking over that goal and it hits people's cars. And so we wanted to raise money to buy a net to go there, to kind of stop those balls from going there.
Did you come up with a dollar amount for that? I'm just curious to what
Um,
that would cost.
I don't have it in front of me, but Steve had a dollar amount, and like we're talking about it at their fundraiser meeting this weekend. I can ask him and send it over to you. And
Is that something that you would have somebody else install, or?
that's a good question. I'm not really sure. 'Cause I've never installed one before. I know Langsberg, when they installed theirs, they just had parent volunteers come up with them, and that they were able to put it up themselves.
I'm sure it's
But-
just digging some holes and pouring found like a footing for their, probably
set
just a
it on
sleeve
there.
that they slide in.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, I'll get more details. We didn't have overly, cause I didn't wanna look too far into it if it wasn't even a thing that the township would
Fair enough.
think about, so. But we're getting ready to do a fundraiser here, kick it off in the next couple of weeks, and we were really hoping to have that be, that's what our goal was, raising money for, and so.
Okay.
I'll send the information over to you, more information, cause I literally have no idea. All I know is from following up with, Jeff Hyde from Langsberg there, and how they put it up and take it down, and put it up and take it down, so.
Okay.
And for the trailer, is it like a cooking trailer or it's just like a?
It's a
Like, it's
trailer,
like-
they had a person go, they followed up with like Randy Pape and Alicia Pape, because they do the concessions, for the school. And they told us like the things that you could do, the things you couldn't do, and so we were gonna start out small, and it wasn't gonna be like cooking things where you had to have a license and
That's
things.
what, that was my
Okay.
question, I guess that would
That
have been
was
a better way
gonna
to
be part
ask
of
that.
it, yeah.
Yeah, what
So is
that's,
it
Cook a
all-
hot dog, do you have to have a license?
Yeah.
I would think, yeah, so
So
it'd
is
be
it all
like
like
chips
prepackaged
and-
for right
yeah,
now?
people-
Right, it was
Okay.
gonna be that kinda
Popcorn
thing,
and-
and then,
It's cooking the popcorn though, you could probably have it and.
There's
you
a
have
list.
bag of them already popped.
yeah, there's a list that we printed off, and, cause we had a family, sign up to run the trailer for us. And so, they looked into it as, with the Papes, and they were able to get a list of things that they could and could not do. Some things were borderline, like you could
Yeah.
try to do, some things you couldn't. Like we sold concessions there before, cause the township told us that we could.
Right.
And so we were selling them before, when we were in like the township's shed actually. And, we would sell like Tommy's Pizza, and we would do everything else was pre-packaged things. And so, anyways, we were hoping to do similar.
Sure. Yeah, I think mostly the ordinance thing that we gotta check on is the actual like trailer structure part of it. Most of the other stuff is like MDARD, which we do with the market anyway, so.
Okay.
And like you said, if you're starting with basics, prepackaged, Gatorade and
Yeah,
whatever,
candy,
like,
That's all
Think-
definitely.
yeah, that's not
admissible,
gonna
yeah.
have that, yeah, any licensing or,
Sure.
so, cool. Any other questions about that? You've got what you need?
Yep,
You've got what you need?
I'll just wait to hear back from you guys on that part, then
Yep.
I'll get you information about the backstop thing.
Perfect.
I'm not even sure if that's fully what it's called, to be honest, but that's what I call it.
You know,
I think of it like the nets that are behind the goalposts at football games.
yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
what I
They
was
hoist
thinking
up
of
when
it,
they
yeah.
kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Yep. And they, like, MSU soccer has,
Yeah, they
well, at
do
least
have
it, like, MSU soccer has it behind at least behind the goal that's closer to the concession stand. I don't
Yep.
know that they have it behind the other one, but yeah, I think that one there is like 4 poles or
I
something
mean, we're
like
not
that.
talking like a top golf.
No.
No, definitely not.
I didn't realize how much of an issue it was until I was at the varsity game and I was trying to take really cool pictures and I stood back there and then all of a sudden a ball whizzed by me. I went,
Oh my gosh.
oh my gosh, did you guys see that? And they're like, why do you think no one's standing there? And I was like, yeah, it makes sense, sorry.
Alright, so on to new business, so we need to talk about our May meeting date. I have to have soccer, coaching, so I'm just pulling up the calendar. So it would be May, 13th, yep. So I have practice the same time. Do we want to just do this, or do we wanna look for another day?
I like
Are we
this.
talking just permanent?
No, just
No,
for-
just
No,
for
just
these
May.
two, yeah, the season
Okay.
ends June 2nd is our last game of the season, and so after that, it'll be
Back to normal.
fine until fall, but I feel like in fall, I feel like it was much more flexible, I don't know, I think mostly because it gets dark, and so we,
Oh, yeah.
we stop, we schedule them so
Yeah.
that they end sooner, or practices end sooner, yeah. So,
It's hard for me because, to pick a different day, just because of my kids' sports schedules, and I'm not sure what they are for districts yet and everything. I don't wanna really miss it, but, I mean, I'm fine with this time on Mondays, but I know it's inconvenient for many, I'm sure.
I would rather do it, this is better for me,
Okay.
I mean,
just cause it's
we
Russian.
can,
I
we
mean,
can do
can
whatever,
yeah.
we're just here,
Yeah.
but,
Les, how do you feel?
Well, you're eating my bedtime here. I can live with it.
What if we bring food?
some coffee.
Or
Coffee.
Adam's gonna be harvesting pretty soon, so.
Actually, in that sense, I actually got a chance to get dinner before I came, so
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a
great.
plus side to it.
Alright, so we're gonna try to do, if it seems like, we'll try to do this same time, 7:30 on May 13th.
Yes.
Alright, thank you all for being. These are on this calendar. I'm putting it on now, cause if I don't, I'll get to this day and be like, oh. And then in June, we'll just go back to June, July, August, we'll go back to that, and then same thing, soccer will start in September, but, or late August, but it's, yeah, usually doesn't conflict, I don't
So
think.
it's just next month.
It's just next
Okay.
month is all, yep. And then it'll go back to the 6th. Alright. I have dreams of this being close to my bedtime and it doesn't ever seem to work out. Alright. So that was easy enough, thank you again. And then you'll post whatever you need to
Yes.
post to do that, perfect, thanks. And then update for farmer's market stuff.
Yes, so, Becca wasn't able to be here, but, the first day of the market will be May 30th. We've updated the market website to reflect that, and then we'll start, probably this week, updating social media and all that good stuff. There have been some applications that have come in already for vendors, and
Awesome.
then she did find a new produce vendor,
Sweet.
Purple Willow Farms.
Wow, are they from Bath?
I don't know, she didn't say, but she was very excited that she found someone.
Yeah, I think that if I can tell you in a minute. Someone right after we shut the farm down or announced we were shutting it down, someone emailed me from Bath and they were like, we've been doing animals and we've been doing just animals for sale, but we've just been doing produce for ourselves. Yes, it is, I think. Yeah, awesome.
Oh, interesting.
Excellent. And so I told him like, yeah, you should, so they're from Bath, they've done, eggs, veggies, goat milk, raised and processed chicken, turkeys, goats, and sheep for meat, and, when they were in Utah, and they've been here they were for USDA Forest Service, and at and she works at MSU in the Title IX office.
Very cool.
Cool. They were asking about the market, and I told them that it was always good for us. We just had a new opportunity. So I'm so happy that they're doing it. That's great. Oh, that makes me so happy. Especially they're from Bath and cool. Yes. Sorry. I ran into Angela Meyer the other day, and she was like, "Do you know if they're gonna have a produce?" I was like, Becca said she had like people interested, and I said that people had contacted me, and I said it was worth it for us. So
Sweet.
cool. Oh, that's awesome. Great. Oh, and the applications coming in is
Yes.
awesome too. So nice. All right. Any questions about the market from anyone? That's kind of the next big event that kind of opens.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think try to plan something again, whether it's like a anniversary thing or
Yeah.
whatever. It's fun,
Yeah.
and hopefully it brought in extra people for you guys and stuff, and so I think planning that and talking about that next meeting,
Yeah,
would be
Yeah,
great.
Yeah.
I know Becca's planning on doing more like cooking demos and things like that too.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, she can definitely talk about that next month, but.
Cool.
Put anniversary market on here for next month. Cool. All right. Ben, you wanna do a staff update?
Sure. Westwater Park bathrooms should be open by this weekend. Hoping. If our water samples come back good, we should be able to open, cause there's a rental this weekend. We had a family donate a bench, I mentioned this last fall, for Robson Road Park.
Oh, yep.
One of their sons, unexpectedly passed away last year, and they donated a bench in his memorial.
Awesome.
We will be pouring a slab for that when we do our spring pours for the cemetery. So that's gonna it'll be like the second or third bench back, if you go back to Main Trail. It's kind of in the middle of the park, and it's a nice little bench, then it says, "Come sit with Tony," or,
Awesome.
yeah. Also, Robson Road, there's a new house being built right next door.
Yep.
And that whole fence line got butchered. I would like to plant a bunch of trees in there. This Clinton County Conservation District's tree sale is coming up here pretty quick. I'm not sure, do you know when the tree sale?
They're taking orders right now.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's any interest in doing another event.
Carolyn, would you like to plant?
But, I plan on.
Carolyn's having
That tree
flower
line
beds
isn't
right
that long, or that fence line's not that long. We walk by it almost every day.
What kind of trees do you seek out for that kind of stuff?
I really like Norways. They're less susceptible to disease and they grow pretty quickly, and they're pretty good wind and, I guess a nice screen also. And I'm sure the people next door would appreciate that
Right.
also. But actually both sides of that, I wouldn't mind planting a bunch of trees. So I'm gonna look at, and I don't wanna plant little sticks either, so I might try to get some 3 or 4 footers
Yeah.
and give them a little quicker start. Race O'Connell also reached out to me, and their Wheeler Tree Company, I guess, gives a bunch of trees away for Arbor Day.
Oh.
So depending on what's left, he said he would give them to the township to put into the park somewhere.
Awesome.
So I'll be meeting with him here shortly. I think, when is that, the 22nd,
Yes.
I think? Is it?
Well,
or
Earth
the
Day is the
Earth Day,
22nd.
Arbor Day, I don't, what is
Arbor
it?
Day.
Is it the same thing? I
Before?
don't know.
April
Every day
22nd?
is Earth Day.
Yeah.
Isn't that?
So anyways, we'd like to plant a bunch of trees along that fence row, kind of neaten the park up and give a little buffer between the new neighbors there. I haven't met them yet, but, looks like it's gonna be a nice house.
Yeah.
I've also been compiling a bunch of data and information, over the years, regarding the Park Lake Trail. That meeting is the May sixth.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up.
So you guys probably might be interested in going to that. I did invite the board to go on a walkabout on the existing trail. And, I don't know, I know Ryan mentioned at a meeting, I'll be meeting with Ryan and trying to come up with a day for that. And I think it's basically gonna be as the board's availability. But that will probably be a public meeting if the whole board goes along,
Yes.
so. We'll keep an eye out for that in the near future, cause we wanna do that before the May sixth meeting.
Okay. And I will be at the May sixth meeting as chair of this board, but probably until soccer starts at 5:30, but that starts at 5. So, I may have I've had some parents say if we ever need something, like they can hop in and that have experience coaching, like, so I'll talk to them and see if either they can do that until 6 and then I can just head there then, or push the practice back, but I'd like to be there, just to be there.
Yeah, so keep an ear out for that, if we do the walkabout, when, I'm not sure. But that hopefully will help, give the board some good information to make a determination one way or another on this Park Lake Trail.
It sounds so British. Run on a walkabout.
A walkabout.
Does it sound British? I don't know.
It's more of an Australian.
Is it Australia? Okay.
Down under.
Some part of the crown.
Yeah.
Question, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Were you invited to this 5-6 meeting, or were you just thinking that it'd be good for us to be present?
I was invited.
Okay.
And I had already planned. I was told it would be nice if I could be there. And I was thinking I was going to be there already.
Is there an agenda?
It's just a special meeting.
It's a special meeting to discuss the Park Lake Trail,
The concept.
the concept of it I don't know if we're discussing the whole thing or just phase 1. Phase 1 is the only thing that has been
A CIP.
a CIP approved item thus far. So the board will be discussing that in a special meeting. There isn't really like a formal agenda yet for it.
And I
But
was
it'll be
thinking-
out the week prior, like usual.
And I was thinking more that I would just like to be there in case there were things said about this committee's role or not role in it, and just be able to, make sure that what we have all discussed and when we formed and how that, where it was at in the process, prior to this committee coming together to, just make sure that like, things are
I haven't kept up with the
true that are
meetings,
said
and so I was
about this
just,
board and their involvement in that.
I was just wondering, did something happen that made it come about as to why they decided to have the meeting, or?
It's been on the board for, as I understand it, 15 years or something, that it's been discussed and it doesn't ever come to a point to get something done. And I'm new, so I wasn't in on any of that old stuff, but that's what I'm gathering, that.
Yeah,
I thought they
so
were just
it's,
waiting for the thing from the drain commissioner.
so that's for, securing an easement for, the start of the trailhead. The idea basically is that the plan as it's full conceptual, so all the phases. While the first phase has been approved, the board has never really indicated whether they want to continue with the other proposed phases. So it's basically discussing if this is something that the board wants to commit to, or if they're really only committed to establishing the trailhead as they've already approved it.
And the difficulty is the whole board changes the end of this year, and they're concerned about, making a decision that then gets flipped over. That's what I'm hearing anyway, and you agree that you weren't at the last meeting. when that came
I
out.
watch them
Yeah,
while they're
okay.
happening, because I'm managing the
Right,
live stream.
right. But that's what I keep hearing is it's just, nothing quite gets finished and then it drags out.
Yeah, mostly a board hasn't really made an actual voted decision on what they would like to do about
like
it. so-
finish it.
Yeah,
So hopefully in this meeting, that's what it's, the only subject that's gonna be done as the senior center and
sure.
Yeah.
get something finished. Hopefully
It seems,
permanently.
it seems like too that it's sort of like, it's that, the Norm Fasteners meeting, and it seems like there's
Yeah.
another one, right? It seems like
Seniors
the senior, it seems like
Center.
the trustees are trying to have some of these more
Right.
like public meeting, 1 hour carved out
Right.
times to discuss like some of the
Yeah, cause there's
topics.
multiple frustrations of not being able from each group, each one of those groups to finish a decision of getting something done.
Yeah, so it seems like this was one of the,
Okay.
at least that's my perception, is that a fair, that
Yeah,
that, hey, we're focusing on this, so we have an hour of
Yep.
this, and this is
Yep.
the special meeting, because they've acknowledged
yeah.
that, or you have all
Everybody's
acknowledged.
acknowledged it's not,
Yeah, so,
I had one other thing, and that's just that we're gonna repaint the cupola in Cousins Park this summer. Hopefully before the,
Memorial.
anniversary.
yeah.
We'll see.
Do you have a date for the pour and play yet?
No, I do not.
And that is CIP, right?
Yes.
Or-
That's
Oh, no, it was
Oh, no, it was
CIP,
ARPA, yes.
But it was CIP, and then it got
Yes.
Move to.
moved when those funds were available, or
Yes.
obligated. All right, you good?
I'm good.
Alright, public comment, over to 3 minutes, really any topic? No, alright, report from DOT, you're up, anything to add?
I think I did already.
Perfect. We always have that spot on there just in case there's
Good.
something not related to rec stuff that, is important for us to know about, so.
Or anything you want me to carry back there that is, let me know anytime.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I think just keeping them in the loop is, I mean, it seems like a big chunk of the time of our last meeting since that 5-year plan was accepted has been focused around this kind of Upton Road site, so if they, ask about it or, take that back, that's sort of where it seems like our brains and energy are headed, so. Okay, any member comments?
I was just gonna say that, so you guys knew the registration closed for soccer. And the U6 soccer got a lot, new people.
Oh,
And
great.
so there's 60 kids registered for the spring.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah,
Is Randy still doing it?
yes.
Good luck, Randy.
Yeah.
He had great helpers last year too.
Yeah, we had, we didn't get enough coaches yet, but so some of the soccer club board members have stepped in and said they could help. So I'll probably be one of the coaches there. And, we had a couple other people who stepped in, and we had a couple of varsity kids, said they would come over and help out as well.
Very cool.
And so I emailed all the families today, like, a welcome letter, and sent them their stuff. I sent out the Sign Up Genius for all their snacks and stuff. And so, that will start next week on the 17th, and it goes, through the end of May. So, yeah, so anyways, lots of kids, and so that's exciting, and
Yeah.
60 kids will be interesting to see them all.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So now I just have to go through and organize all the teams, because parents started writing me and saying, can Jimmy be with Bobby? They love each other. And I'm like,
We get that all the time.
Jimmy was on team D, but let me find him really quick and put him over on team M. So, but yeah, going good. I'm gonna order shirts, and we'll get those in hopefully in the next couple weeks, and everything should be good to go. Cool. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
No.
Just say, it's been nice to have you
Thank
here,
you.
so I'm glad that and thank you again to everyone, I know we said it,
I
but for
lied.
moving
I
the
had one
time
more
in,
thing.
for
Okay.
making a quorum.
It was just a quick question, and it might be silly, but is the person who owns the stuff behind the soccer field, are they affiliated with the township at all, or not? No.
No,
Okay.
they're a private owner.
I was just asking, because that bonfire they have going all the time, I just didn't know if you guys knew how long it was gonna be, because
No.
some of,
That'd be a good question for the fire department.
Yeah, they usually, when people are doing stuff like that, they do inform the fire department that they're doing it,
Oh,
just
okay.
in case they get calls and things like that,
Sure.
because sometimes people don't know and then they think that it's like a bad fire and then call. So usually they are informed of it, so,
I'm sure there's a burning permit involved.
yeah.
okay, just curious, because, man, I
I know.
hate that smoke when you're out there and you're trying to play soccer, or you're just trying to watch your kid play soccer,
Yeah,
like,
it's
Emma got
definitely-
there today and she has asthma, and she took
Oh,
she
no.
can't smell it yet, and so she didn't know she didn't even think about it, she stepped out, and she went, She said, who's got a fire? And as she turned and she went, what the heck? And she said, who's that? Is there a house on fire? I said, no, it's just
Definitely
for
not the
trees,"
best
so.
location for that.
There are a few kids on our team today too that
Were
were,
there?
yeah, getting their inhalers and
Right.
part of the way through, and, yeah. So. All right, well, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:33. And a second?
Second? Oh, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thanks again, all.
Thank you.